In this lesson, we will finish the mech's polishing pass. It's now time to animate the left claw. Let's go to make sure that this is more like recoil instead of opening and closing. So let's say we do this. We'll go ahead and adjust our range slider. Go ahead and drop the frame so that we're just viewing the end of the animation. Let's also right-click on the time slider. We're going to go back to Display Key Ticks, and we're going to choose From Channel Box. That way we could just focus on the keys right here in our channel box. As we start to highlight each channel, we're then shown those keys and only those keys. So what I'd like to do is go ahead and take a look at the timing of the claw. I'd almost like it to open up a bit faster. Let's go ahead and take this key on 152. Let's go ahead and kind of speed up the animation a bit by pulling it over to our left a few frames. So we'll go ahead and bring it to about 249. Great. I'd also like to open it up a bit more for exaggeration. I'd like to really push the claw open there. Great, more exciting. And then that gives us more room to see the gun. Now we can add some recoil, so as this opens it will start to close just slightly. So we'll have that happen on about frame 259. Let's go ahead and kind of close in the claws just a bit, not much. And then this motion will continue and it'll gradually come to a stop. So on 268 we'll open the claws back up just a bit. And then we'll have them close just slightly on about frame 276. And then I'd say on about 285 we can have them open up just a bit. And here's what we end up with. Again, a bit of a recoil. Fantastic. Great. Let's go ahead and take a look at the timing. Let's check and make sure we like what we see. Alright, sweet. So it looks like the timing is just a little bit slow. I'd say we can go ahead and speed it up a bit. Let's go ahead and hold down Shift, and we'll grab the keys from 259 and on. And we'll go ahead and just kind of pull them in just a little bit more to fix the timing here. Let's do the same thing on 266. We'll go ahead and grab that key and the keys that follow, and we'll go ahead and pull them in just a few frames. And we'll do the same thing for the last two keys here. Just kind of pull them in just a bit to speed up the timing some. Because it was looking way too fluid, and we don't want that to happen. Much better. Okay, great. So at this point, what I'd like to do is add a little bit more movement to the arms so they don't feel like they're stuck. Let's go ahead and right click and go back to Active under Display Key Ticks. Sweet. So now we'll just go ahead and add a little bit more movement to the arms. For example, you can see how the claw opens up here on about frame 214. Let's go ahead and add a few more frames just to keep track of all of our keys. So as this arm comes up, we can go, let's see, on about frame 193 and kind of bring the arm down just a bit so it just doesn't come to a stop, right? And then on about 205, we can bring it up just slightly. Let's go ahead and hit play. Great. And almost say I'd like to take this key on 193 and maybe delay it a few more frames to about 196 because it was moving down a little bit too fast. Much better. Great. And then on 214 I might go ahead and add a little bit more movement by shifting the arm a little bit more to the center of the mech. Great. And we can do the same thing for the left arm. So as that comes up, let's have it move down a bit on about 260. We'll go ahead and just kind of drop it, move it over. And then we'll bring it back up on about frame 273. Let's hit play and see how that feels. Much more natural. And we should have this movement continue until about the end of the animation. Just kind of have it move just slightly. So we'll have that happen on 287 and then 295. Fantastic. I'll go ahead and drop the arm on 295. I think it comes up a little bit too much. That feels nice. Sweet. And then we can go ahead and jump back to the body and have that move a bit as well. So I'd say on about frame 208, we can go ahead and add a slight shift to the center of gravity. We'll rotate it a little bit more to our right, just slightly, so there's a bit of subtlety there. And then we can create a weight shift here. So on about 188, let's go ahead and kind of shift the weight over to his left. Since he's looking to the right, we'll go ahead and move it that way. But then we'll want to have that weight move in the opposite direction over to his right just a bit for a bit of a sway. So now it looks like he's being affected by gravity, right? Wonderful. And then he comes back a little bit too fast on 232. So let's go ahead and use the graph editor to fix that. I'll go ahead and jump to the graph editor. Sweet. We'll go to our Transit X channel. Let's go ahead and press the F key. Let's go ahead and take this key on 232. We'll hold down Shift and we'll drag a few more frames over to our right to delay the timing there. Let's hit play. Much more natural. Take a look at that. And now we can go ahead and create another sway on about frame 269. Just kind of shift them over a bit to the left. And we'll have that movement continue to about 275. Just go ahead and pull them a little bit more over to the left. Our left, that is. His right. And then we'll bring them back over to his left on 290. Sweet. And then on 300, we'll go ahead and kind of shift the weight a little bit more to his right, our left. All right, fantastic. So from here, I'd like to go ahead and jump back to the graph editor and take a look at the keys that we have. So we can most certainly adjust this key on 275. I'd like to kind of bring it up just a bit because it's way too close to the value of 269. So we want to prevent a pause in the animation where it looks like, again, the center of gravity comes to a dead stop, and that's going to break the illusion that we're trying to create here. We could also go through and look for moments to add more of an overshoot so that movement continues to push in that direction until it starts to change course. By doing so, we can start to loosen up our characters this way. Take a look at that, much better. Sweet. I'd like to go back to frame 300. I'd like to take this last key and just bring it up because he's moving a little bit too much when he gets to 300. We want that to be subtle. We want that movement to gradually come to a stop. Much better. And now the last thing we'll tweak on the center of gravity is the rotate Y channel. Let's go ahead and press the F key. So as he starts to kind of turn to take a look at both arms, let's offset our timing a bit so it doesn't happen at the same time. Again, that's very robotic, no pun intended. Even though we're animating a type of a robot, we still want to have it move in a way that reflects what we would see in life, right? So just because this is a robot doesn't mean he should move in a very stiff way where it doesn't look right at all. So I've just sped up this key a bit to about 185 instead of being on 188. And then we can add an overshoot here where he'll continue rotating in that direction just for a few more frames. Let's do the same thing on about 208. We'll go ahead and just add an overshoot here. Just kind of bring that up a bit. And then when he looks over to his left, we'll kind of do the same thing. Let's go ahead and speed up the animation a bit, just by 2 frames. So we'll go ahead and bring this key that was once on 252 to about 250. And then I'd like to add a little bit more rotation here, so it just doesn't come to a stop. Let's go ahead and have him rotate a little bit more to his left. And then on 300, we'll go ahead and bring him slightly back to his right, and just slightly. Needs to be subtle. Fantastic. So I just wanted to give you some ideas as to how we can kind of polish the animation so that it looks more lifelike. And take a look. Looks great. We only made a few modifications and should be really pleased with what we have here. So that's going to be it for this lesson. Guess what? It's time to animate our shot camera. And then following that, we'll basically do some cleanup work and look for any areas we might want to change, if anything needs to be changed. And if we are satisfied with what we see, we'll go ahead and then do a real-time preview right here from Maya just to make sure that, again, everything looks good at the right frame rate so we can confidently hand our work off.